What's up, everybody? It's HBT with Straight Up Wrestling Show, guys. Here live, man. Here live. Hey, it is Wednesday night, guys. Hey, about 25 minutes away from midnight, guys. Midnight. So we're like 23 minutes away from midnight. And hey, I know it's not a lot of people on, but hey, I'm coming on anyway because that's what I'm gonna start coming on. Doing what we usually do. Hey, come on at random times besides the times that we come on live, guys. But got a lot to talk about. So hey, I am here, guys, and pretty much I am going to talk about wrestling promoters are stuck in the status quo and they have no idea how to get away from it, guys. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Wrestling promoters are stuck in the status quo and they have no idea how to get away from it, guys. And I'm not just talking about the WWE. I'm not just talking about AEW. I'm not talking about just TNA. I'm not talking about NWA. I'm not talking about MLW. I'm not just talking about the big promotions out here, guys, or pretty much, let's say the mid-size promotions outside of the WWE. I guess you could say AEW is a big promotion. As far as monetarily, they are a big promotion. But guys, hey, I'm talking about everybody, man. Straight up, I'm talking about everybody, all the way down to the indies, guys. This right here is talking about indie promotions too. When I'm talking about, guys, man, these wrestling promotions are stuck 100%. They are stuck in the status quo, guys. And I'm not a status quo guy. I am not a status quo guy. And as far as as far as myself, Christopher Burton, and all of us who have been involved with the Straight Up Wrestling Show since the Straight Up Wrestling Show has been running for these almost 4 years, guys. We have been, we've been watching something, man, that I have to say is the status quo. As far as our podcast, it's basically the status quo too. You can look at all these podcasts out here, guys. The status quo. I'm not going to sit here and say every podcast out here is satisfied with the status quo, but a lot of them are, man. When it boils down to, a lot of them are. It's the status quo as far as a lot of these podcasts out here, just like what we're watching. Wrestling today, it is stuck in the status quo. And I'm going to even throw wrestlers in there, especially out here from what we see. Me and Chris, these guys that we are around as far as these indie wrestlers, they stuck in the status quo too. The wrestling community, wrestling in general, wrestling is stuck in the status quo, and it's not going to go anywhere farther as long as it's stuck in the status quo. And I know a lot of people may think that wrestling is not stuck in the status quo because you have the powers that be. The powers that be is going to get out here and say that, hey, wrestling is not stuck in the status quo, that wrestling is on the uptick, that wrestling is the biggest it's ever been, man. No, it's not. No ends or buts about that, and the ratings tell that 100%. I don't care if you talk about streaming. You can throw streaming in there if you want to, but streaming, hey, it's not more people watching wrestling than they were back in the 80s. There's no way. There's not more people watching wrestling today than it was in the 90s, in the 2000s, early 2000s, and even the 70s and 80s. There were more people watching wrestling than watching wrestling today, man. Wrestling is stuck in the status quo, and they are satisfied. They are satisfied with the small number that they are getting. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Tony Khan is satisfied with that 600,000. He done got back over the 600,000. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's satisfied with what he's getting. Hold on for a second. Hold on, everybody. Chaz, leave me alone. My son is asking me a question, guys. Give me just a second. All right, but yeah, I will sit here and say it 100% because it is what I see, and it's the truth, man. Wrestling right now is stuck in the status quo, and they are having a hard time. Get out of here, please! Goodness sake! Sorry about that, everybody. Sorry about that. My son was coming here just messing with me. He know he doesn't mess with me while I'm online. I don't know why in the world he was doing that, but he's in here messing with me. while I'm online. Sorry about that, but I got really upset with him there, so I had to pause for a second. Sorry about that. But guys, look, man, I don't want to end the stream. I definitely don't want to end the stream. I want to keep this stream going. But yes, wrestling is, it's stuck in the status quo. It is. It really is. And what I'm talking about as far as the status quo, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to tell you why it's stuck in the status quo. And, hey, recently I've gotten involved, been booking and doing things like that. But somebody decided to come back in, when I wasn't there, got there late and decided to come back in and roll the status quo, the same old thing that they had been doing before, and that's one thing. And he's not the first person that I've seen do it. And it's not just wrestling that this happens in. It happens in everyday life, man. Never be satisfied with the status quo, because if you are satisfied with the status quo, then that's what you're going to be. That's where you're going to be stuck, guys. It does not matter what industry in life, or whatever, man. If you are satisfied with the status quo, that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be, and that's where you're going to be. Your company will never grow. Your company in wrestling is not going to grow, being stuck in the status quo. It just isn't. It just isn't. Wrestling is going to stay the same. These numbers are going to keep going down as far as the ratings and everything. And yes, WWE is going to continue to make money. They're going to continue to do what they do, and they're going to make money because today we have as far as we have a big thing with inflation. WWE has slowed down their live shows. They don't have as many live shows anymore, guys, and they are charging outrageous ticket prices. And you know what? People are buying it. I'm not going to say they have decided. People are buying it, and they will buy merchandise like crazy, man. I mean, you don't see people buying football jerseys as much as they buy T-shirts and things like that, shirts for the WWE. You just don't. There will be people that will go to 2 or 3 different shows a year. They may maybe your town, if your town is the size or the size of my town of Greenville, South Carolina, or a little bit bigger, you're going to see maybe 2 Raws a year and maybe a SmackDown a year. So maybe that's 3 times, and say they come through 3 times, and then you will have somebody, somebody who's a huge wrestling fan. I'm not going to call them a mark or whatever. They will get a T-shirt at every one of those shows, or maybe 2 or 3 different T-shirts. Okay. Now, for your favorite football team, you may get 1 player. You may get 2. You may get 2 players, but most likely you're going to get 1 player. A lot of teams only have like 1 player, but that's the only jersey that you're going to buy. But for the WWE, each time they come through with a new jersey or whatever, and people are buying it. They come with other merchandise. It could be a bobble doll. It could be all kind of different things, and people will purchase that. And that's how wrestling makes its money. They make their money. They make so much money off of just crazy stuff. And people are willing to buy it. They are willing to buy it. And wrestling fans today are willing to accept that the mediocre product that continues to be thrown out in our face. And I don't care what anybody says. It's mediocre, guys. It's nothing great about these wrestling shows that's going on right now. It's not. It's not. You do have some great wrestlers that I think that can pretty much go to the top. That could be top dog wrestlers. That could be guys that could be superstars that we can look at, like the superstars of yesteryear. Yes, they do have them. Man, Cody Rhodes, definitely a straight superstar. But to be great, you have to have somebody opposite of that greatness, guys. You have to have somebody else that's great to pretty much elevate that person who we are calling great. And I'm not saying that Cody Rhodes doesn't have great opposition, or he doesn't have great people to wrestle, but when it boils down to it, you have they're pulling out pulling out greats from the past. You have to pull out John Cena. Okay, once this John Cena thing over, where do we go from here? And will John Cena win the title? And hey, he's a past great, but will he win the title? But each time, I mean, for the last 2 years, last 2 to 2.5 years, the WWE, each time, man, that their ratings go down, they have to pull out somebody like Brock Lesnar. They have to pull out The Rock now, and John Cena. They have to pull these people in to pull these ratings up, guys. And I tell you what, straight up, man, that's the status quo. That is the status quo. And week in and week out, you see the same old thing. And the chaos is just flat out ridiculous, guys. Just chaos. That's what we have. And it was really bad in AEW for the last few years. It's really been bad in AEW, but WWE has followed suit, and they have followed suit. They supposed to be the leaders, and they are following suit. They have followed AEW, and I'm like, wow. Hey, let's give them more and more and more chaos. That's all we see. More and more chaos. That's all it is. It's the status quo. The same old matches, man, as far as AEW. Flippity flop, flippity flop, flippity flops. Hey, guys, these, starting factions, having factions over and over again, guys. That's what it is. It is the status quo, not doing anything different. Everything we've seen for the last 3.5 to 4 years in wrestling have been 100% all the same. And there's nobody out there that can tell me anything different, guys. There's nobody out there that can tell me anything different. What's going on? Let's see what's going on. All right. So, yeah, give me just a second here, guys. Wow. Wow. Can y'all hear me? Hope everybody can hear me. All right, hope everybody can hear me. Sorry about that. I just had something just pretty much just messed me up here. Just 1 minute here, guys. I'm going to try to get back to what I had going on. But, yeah, my computer just kind of like messed me up there. It messed everything up. But what in the world? Yeah, my computer just messed everything up, guys. Give me just 1 second here. Give me 1 second here. But, yeah, we are stuck in that status quo, guys. And that's one thing that I've never been part of the status quo in anything. Been part of the status quo. I'm just not a status quo person. It does not matter who it is or what it is. I am not into that status quo thing. And what's going on? Raymond Underwood says, "Hey, Harry." Raymond says, yes, 100%. Wow, man. Yeah, something done happened here where they have messed me up. Oh man, something just happened here, but it's okay, guys. We're gonna roll with it like this. But so definitely the status quo, man. Like I said, let's just go ahead and talk about the status quo. And what I mean about the status quo, I mean anytime you have, like, say, if you work for Frito-Lay, and Frito-Lay, they had two types. They had the regular nacho cheese, and then they came up with ranch. Say they had the ranch Doritos and regular nacho cheese, and you've been working for them for 20 years, and that's all they sell as far as Frito-Lay. That's all they sell. And yes, they're gonna do good because a lot of people like the regular nacho cheese Doritos, and they like the ranch Doritos. But then you see the competition around you. You see Frito-Lay, say Doritos is separate from Frito-Lay. Okay, you see Fritos, they coming up with the corn chips. They got the barbecue corn chips. They have cheddar cheese corn chips. Frito-Lay is adding other things besides their potato chips. With their barbecue potato chips, sour cream and onion, cheddar cheese, cheddar potato chips. Garlic and salt and pepper potato chips, or whatever. They're doing a whole bunch of different things. But you are Doritos, and you just sitting there with two different flavors. If you are satisfied with that as a company, you say you're an executive in that company or somebody that working for that company, and you satisfied, hey, we just got this right here, man, we're good. You're selling for the status quo. And one thing that we have in wrestling, man, we are seeing the same stuff every week, week in and week out. And it seems to me that the WWE and AEW, they are relying on their fans because, hey, we got social media today. They are relying on their fans to pretty much put other people, you putting other people in place. You're putting other people in check, telling them that it was a good show when other people saying, man, that was horrible or whatever. But you got this hardcore wrestling fan, man, that just love everything that they see. Oh man, it was great. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And we are taking that. We are taking that, and we are satisfied with it. And everything continues to go on and on and on exactly the way it is. Exactly the way it's run. and it's bad, guys. It's horrible. It really is. I just, man, me, I just don't know. I just don't know. And like I said, look, it's not just WWE, AEW, TNA, or whoever you want to call out there. It's all these indies week in and week out, man. Me and Chris used to travel so much to watch these indies, and hey, been helping out indie here lately, but we've been on the road traveling and doing, hey, I was doing different things with this indie promotion, doing different things with other indie promotions that we've been involved with, doing other things as far as a podcast team with indie promotions, and hey, each and every time there's somebody has to come in and they have to change things. They have to get it back to what it was before. Hey, even you as a booker, somebody might come, you may be booking great shows. You may be booking great shows and everybody is getting into it. But then it has to be somebody that comes in and say, oh, okay, wait a minute now. We're not having enough attacks. There's not enough people being attacked. We don't have enough 3-way and 4-way matches. We don't have, we don't have no ladder matches. We don't have people getting attacked. We don't have people getting thrown through chairs and things like that. We don't have people getting hit on top of the head with trash cans, with a trash can lid or something like that. They got to throw that in there. They got to throw that in there. They cannot be satisfied with people enjoying wrestling, guys. I'm talking about pure wrestling where wrestlers get to be in their match, and after the match, get to walk back to that dressing room with their head held high after their match. Win or lose, guys. Win or lose. Yes, of course, there should be some drama every now and then where people are getting jumped. That's part of wrestling, guys. It should be some chaos every now and then. It definitely, where people getting attacked while they're inside of the ring, or people getting attacked, walk into the ring. I have no problem with that. But when you do it week in and week out, that's all you see. That's all you see. Or every time you see a card, I mean, they could be cards because, hey, if you on the indie wrestling scene, especially here in the Carolinas, Georgia, North Carolina, and I'm pretty sure other places around the country that have a healthy independent wrestling scene, you go from one card to the next card, to the next card, to the next card, and I'm talking about within a 20 to 40 mile radius, and each and every one of them cards is exactly the same. You can pretty much sit there and you can pretty much, guys, predict what's going to happen. Hey, there's maybe two matches where, hey, it's not going to be 3 or 4 people going to be come out and pretty much going to join into the attack on these matches. There's always going to be these long promos opening up the show, just like, the WWE, AEW, the same exact thing, guys, the same exact thing. These promoters, all they do is look at TV and they see what they see. That's what they figure they got to put in their show, guys. They got to put it in their show. Straight up. They just do. They just do. And I know there's a lot of promoters out here, man, people that I know may not want to hear what I got to say. But, yeah, there's a lot of local promoters around, and people, in South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. There's local promoters that I know that do the same thing, guys. They copying what they see on TV. They are stuck in the status quo, and they have no idea how to get out of it, guys, or how to get away from it. They have no idea. They have no idea. They're not creative enough to get away from it. They, hey, we're going to do exactly what we saw on TV. Just flat out crazy, man. Just flat out crazy. I mean, we just saw a spot on AEW, man, a couple weeks ago, where, it reminded me from the scene from Escape from New York when Ox Baker was taking on Kurt Russell, as far as when they had arrested Kurt Russell, I think his name was Snake Plempkin or whatever, when they finally got a hold of him and they put him in a match, man. They put him in this ring against Ox Baker, and he had this, and they was, both had these big bats, these big clubs, man. They was clubbing each other, and they both of them had like these, like wrapped with like barbed wire, and it had these spikes. And what is his name? Kurt Russell had got out of the way, tripped up Ox Baker. He fell on the ropes or whatever, and Kurt Russell took that club and he banged him upside the head, and spikes went inside his head and blood just flowed. And the same thing that happened in the Jon Moxley match, man. Jon Moxley, who was that? Jon Moxley and what is his name? What do you call himself now? Jon Moxley and Adam Copeland's match, man. pretty much same thing, but right into the back of Jon Moxley. Just chaos. Let's get as much chaos as possible, guys. Much chaos. Let's give the fans the chaos, guys. It's just status quo and giving you more and more and seeing what they can do to even try to improve on the status quo and saying, they doing this and they doing that. It's the same thing that we're doing, but hey, we can do it better. And that's what these indies are saying. Hey, man, we can do that better. We can do more chaos than that last indie done. Hey, and we're going to have these fans coming out here to see this. We saw, just a couple years back, man, me and Chris, it was this indie that we was working with, and we had designed, we had came up with some different things that they was doing where it just looked like, just pro wrestling. Fans got all into it, man. And, we said, look, just be chaotic. Just be chaotic right here at the end of the show. And it was chaotic at the end of the show. Fans got into it because they wasn't expecting it to happen. Fans got into it. And then next thing you know, they come up to us. We're sitting down at the table, man, at the commentary table, and telling us, oh man, we got to do more of this, Harry. Harry, we got to do more of this. The fans really got into it. And if we think we do this, man, we gonna have fans coming in here all the time, man. We really gonna pack the house. The next week, the next show that they had, they really packed the house. It was packed out. They did more of that chaos. The next show after that, it went down probably about 25%, 75% full. Did more chaos. Then after that, man, they was at a 30% capacity rate after that because the fans said, okay, they doing the same old things over and over again. Yes, people come out to the WWE. They come out to the WWE because WWE has a name. But doesn't mean the WWE is gaining fans because they are not. They're losing fans, man. They are. As far as on TV, yes, they selling out arenas. Yes, they doing that. They've been doing that for a while now. They're selling out places where they go. It's a big event to go to a WWE show. But, man, wow. Could they be doing a lot better? Yes, they could. Yes, they could. And yes, they trying to wipe out the competition, not just AEW. They are setting their feet in stone, man. They're coming after the indies. With this WWE ID, they have the WWE Evolve thing now. I looked at that, pretty good, but it looked like an indie show. I didn't see it this past Thursday. Probably watch this Thursday, but I do have to go. I'll probably go tomorrow and watch that episode that we missed last week. See how it's going, man. But hey, I'm waiting to see how much chaos we're going to get in that. I know we get chaos in NXT. We get chaos with SmackDown, and we get chaos with Raw. That's all it is to it. It's chaos, chaos, chaos. And now it's pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. And, of course, AEW, they was doing more. So WWE started even doing even more. Because, hey, you got to keep up with the Joneses, man. You got to keep up. You got to, give the people that. Because somebody has figured out. Straight up, somebody has figured out, hey, the more chaos that we give these guys, the better off we're going to be. Let's give them more and more chaos. So that way they don't have to think. They don't have to sit there and think, hey, and pretty much hold us accountable for running good storylines. Let's just give them the chaos, guys. Let's give them the chaos. Man, hey, that's what they need. They need more chaos. Straight up, man, it's kind of crazy. It really is. But hey, that's wrestling today. That's wrestling today. That's status quo. That's status quo. And I sit back. This past weekend, man. This past weekend. Hey, my voice was scraggly and everything. Hey, we went down to Georgia. And hey, some things I'm not going to get into it. There's some things that happened. But hey, it made me question a lot of things. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this podcast and working with a lot of wrestling, working with a few wrestling promotions, man, I don't put plenty of money into this. I don't put plenty of money into, giving, paying wrestlers, making sure these indie wrestlers get paid. I make sure that I pull my own money out. It done got into the thousands in this right here. As far as this podcast, I don't put a lot of money, thousands of dollars into this podcast. Guys, traveling on the road. I spent a lot of money on this. I'm like, why am I doing it? Why am I doing it? Last year, before I got involved with this promotion that I'm involved with now, I say about a year and a half ago when our partner, my commentary partner, Danny Paris, passed away. Me and Christopher Burton's podcast partner passed away. I was going to start my own thing, straight up wrestling, straight up professional wrestling, SUPW. I was going to start my own thing. But you know what? I decided to get involved with somebody else. And man, hey, why in the world did I do that? Why in the world did I do that? Because I'm telling you what, like this, when it comes to wrestling, I have my own ideas. You know, each and everybody that's a friend of Straight Up Wrestling Show, and we call you friends instead of fans. I mean, you all family and everything. Each and everybody that come through here and listens to me, myself, and Christopher Burton, especially me, you guys know how I think. I do not think like the average. I do not think like your average Joe. I don't. You know, hey, I am different, guys. Doesn't matter what it is. You know, as a musician, as a rap artist growing up in the 80s and 90s, guys, when everybody started sampling music, I didn't sample. I was original, man. You know, I was convenient. I didn't sample no old artists or anything like that. I never did that. You know, I've never been the type of person that follows a crowd or do what everybody else does. I've never been that person and never will be that person. And so, you know, hey, I come with different ideas and want to do different things as far as wrestling go. And hey, then you have these people, they don't understand. They don't understand. You know why they don't understand? Because they watching something that they see on TV or they see other people doing and they decide we got to do it too. That's all it is to it, man. It's just flat out crazy. It really is. And I see my man Luke Da Silva is in the house. What's up, Luke? Raymond Underwood says, well, hey, Harry, what's up? Raymond says, yes. And my man Raymond Underwood is a wrestler, man. And Raymond Underwood know what I'm talking about. Christine Saucy Girl, hey, Harry, could be the wrestler. Could be the weather. Could be the weather. Raymond Underwood got bad weather here under a tornado. Okay. Yeah, we've been having bad weather too. 1 until 4 a.m. winds up to 75 to 80 miles per hour. Raymond says, I think AEW is starting to go to that backyard wrestling. What I mean, look at Motley and that bat with nails. And then tonight, what Moxley did to Swerve, putting him through the glass window. And you know what? I didn't get to see it because, you know, me, my wife, and my son was out. So I definitely didn't get to see that. So I'm going to definitely have to check that out, Ray. I'm glad you said that because I'm going to go back. I need to go back and watch that episode, guys. And I'll come back and give you my review of it because I do want to do that. And okay, all right. Luke Da Silva says, I feel you, brother. I appreciate that, Luke. Definitely appreciate that. But man, it is just flat out gotten crazy. It really has with, you know, as far as wrestling goes. But yeah, I put a lot of money into this, and I'm like, hey, why in the world should I do it? Now I'm looking at it. I'm looking at every single thing and say, why should I do it if I'm not doing it the way that I want to do it? And I don't care what it is. As far as my podcast go, as far as this podcast go, with me and Christopher Burton, as far as you know, as far as me being a promoter or owning, because I have my own money, man. You know, that's one thing about, you know, all these guys out here, these promoters and everything. I have my own money. I don't have to follow anybody on what I want to do. So, you know, as far as what I want to do next is SUPW, straight up professional wrestling, and that's not putting down the guys that I work with now. Hey, man, love them. You know, definitely love them. But hey, I'm not your conventional person. I'm not satisfied with the status quo. I'm not that dude. I am not that dude. And hey, do not come to me and think I'm gonna be that dude, man. I was an unconventional fighter when I fought. You know, as a boxer or whatever. Everything that I ever done, man, I've been unconventional. I do it differently than most people do. That's just all it is to it. That's all it is to it. And when I played sports, I did things a lot different. And yes, I listened to my coach, but man, I played my positions. I did things differently. I think differently, and that, you know, that's not bragging or anything like that, man. It's just if you are the same, man, you will not be great. I don't know anybody that's great that has achieved greatness by following other people, by doing what other people do. You can't go out there and start a McDonald's franchise and expect to be Ray Kroc. You cannot. By starting a McDonald's, by buying a franchise, buying 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, I don't care how many you buy, you are not going to be remembered as Ray Kroc. That's all there is to it. You're not going to be remembered like the McDonald brothers who started who was the ones who designed that fast, quick line. You're not going to be remembered like them, or Ray Kroc who took it and took McDonald's globally like that and made McDonald's what it was. You're not going to be remembered like that. I don't care if you have 50 of them and they all successful. Nobody's going to know your name, man. Straight up. Now, if you start your own fast food franchise and you make a name for yourself, that's a whole different ball game. But if you go and buy in the Burger King, you buy in the Chick-fil-A, somebody that's already established, you're not going to be great. Can you go and play football and be a linebacker and be great? Yeah, if you got your own thing. If you totally different, you go in there and you got speed, you got power, you got something that different that changes the game. Yeah, people gonna look at you different, man. But wow, I'm just shaking my head. I'm shaking my head, and I'm just like, I'm sitting there, I'm just thinking like, why in the world should I be involved with a bunch of people in this business that are satisfied with the status quo, that want to do the same thing week in and week out, a month in and month out, want to do the same thing over and over and over again. A lot of these podcasts out here, they are the same, man, and they praise and they praise and they praise. That's all they do. It's praise wrestling. They're praise. Some of them have the indie wrestlers come on and all they do is praise. That's all they do. That's what they do. And they talk about AEW like every single show is great. WWE, every single show is great. Scared to be straight up, man, and say, hey, man, that wasn't that good. Scared to be that. I mean, scared to say, say the truth. Talk the truth. Speak the truth. Luke Da Silva, who you going at? Nobody right now, Luke. Nobody. I'm pretty much going at everybody, man. As far as everybody, man. That's as far as from the perspective of my podcast, and from the perspective of everybody that I pretty much have worked with out here in the business, man. When it boils down to it, me and Chris have worked as far as, I ain't gonna say work with all the promotions, but we've been to 23 different promotions. 23 and counting, as far as doing commentary or doing or going out there podcasting or going out there being invited to their show by these guys inviting the Straight Up Wrestling Show, wanting the Straight Up Wrestling Show to be a part of their show or come to their show and see their show. And we go and see their show. There's a lot of promoters who have asked us to come out and see their show, and I go and see their show. It's the same show. It's the same show that I just left from the week before. From somewhere else. And then I go to another show, somebody else who's uninvited us, and we go and we may commentate or whatever. And they brag and they talk about how good their show gonna be, how great their show gonna be. The same type of show. And look, I don't care who you have on your show. I'm not gonna name certain people or whatever, but I've seen, especially out here on the indies. And Luke, I'll go ahead and say, like you out here on the indies, you know what I'm talking about. Ray Underwood, he's an indie wrestler too. But Ray got a lot of experience, been around a long time. But I'm just gonna say some names. I mean, maybe some names out here with some people have the same name, but let me just go ahead and come up with some different names. Guys, Blade, say Blade Johnson, man. Say Scrappy Titan, Scrappy Taylor. Let's see. Derek Badass, man. You can just name off a few wrestlers and say all three of those wrestlers that I named, and let's see, come up with a tag team, man. The Doomsday Duo or whatever. And say all four of them are top notch, upper echelon indie wrestlers. And you can have each and every one of them guys on your card. I've been in plenty of cards like that. We've had all top echelon guys. All guys that's top tier guys. I done been to plenty shows like that. Trash. The show's trash, man. Trash. And, the promoter or whoever, they got the nerve to ask me what I think about the show. And, sometimes the show is okay. I'll be like, okay, the show's okay. It was pretty good. It was okay. Me and Chris will tell them, And hey, if I don't come back and if I don't review your show, I think your show's trash. That's all it is to it. If we didn't review your show, then we don't want to make you look bad. Because me and Chris, we used to review everybody's shows. Then we just stopped doing that because we're like, hey, wait a minute, man, that wasn't a good show. Hey, we called it Straight Up Wrestling Show for a reason. Because we're straight up with everybody. But I've seen shows with the best talent be trash. And I've seen shows, man, that just didn't have much talent at all, and be some of the greatest shows that I've seen. But I've also seen shows like that just be pure garbage, backyard trash garbage. But man, look, it's all about the booking. It's all about the promoting, but it's all about somebody trying to be different, somebody trying to do something that's not being done. And, and everything, man, nothing is new under the sun, especially out here on this, out here in wrestling. It's nothing that I can do as far as booking or whatever, or designing how matches should go. That's nothing that I can do. I'm going to go ahead and talk about myself. There's nothing I can do that hasn't been done. But there's a way to do things, and there's a way not to do things as far as in this wrestling business. And we have people that just basically say, hey, man, look, I got to go with what I see on TV. It doesn't matter that people may be tired of what they're seeing on TV or whatever. I got to go with what I'm seeing on TV. I got to do that. I just got to stick with that status quo. On the WWE this week, I saw a great promo by John Stockton. Not John Stockton, man. What do I just not? John Cena, man. I'm thinking about basketball, man. I'm going old school too. I said John Stockton, Utah Jazz fame, man. Man. All right, John Cena and Cody Rhodes just had a great promo. Hey guys, we got to do something similar to that. Hey man. Braun Breaker got jumped. Braun Breaker and Penta. They got jumped in that match, man. It was Braun Breaker, Penta, and who else? It was a third. And Braun Breaker, Penta. You had Dominic Mysterio and what's the other guy, man? Carlos Colon's son. I can't even think of his name right now. So all four of them in the ring. Somebody came into the ring. I think it was Finn Balor came in the ring. All kind of chaos ensued. Hey, we got to copy that, guys. We got to do the same thing. We got to do the same thing, guys. Or if we don't do that, people are not going to come out to see us. Most of the people go out to these indie shows. Some of them look at professional wrestling. But, everybody that come out to these indie shows, especially the older people, they're looking for an alternative. They're looking for an alternative to what they see on TV. But you know what? You give them the same thing. Wrestling promoters, they give them the same exact thing. Nothing different. And then, you may be a promoter who's getting 70 people in your house. You may get 200 people in your house. You get a bunch of kids and everything. Some people go so they definitely can have something to do with their children. But when you quiet down the house, man, I've been in too many wrestling shows where everybody, people are up for a while. Boom, then they quiet down. And I see these wrestlers, they work hard. They work hard and they do everything they can to build a spot or get into a spot to try to get the fans up. And a lot of times, most times, those spots is something chaotic, some kind of violence or whatever that they can throw in. But each and every time they do it, boom, it's been done over and over and over again. It's the same thing. Now, man, that's all they do. That's all they do. They look under, they find a foreign object, they go up under the doggone, they go up underneath the ring, and they bring something out to pretty much bash you upside the head. Bring a chair, try to throw you through a chair, or pick you up, throw you through the chair, or whatever, man. It just, you guys know what I'm talking about. Bring out a ladder, throw you on the ladder, jump off the ladder. All kind of things. Throw you out the ring, go run back to the rope, look and see, and wait for those wrestlers to stay there and stand there and catch them. Go run and come and dive over the top rope over on them. Or the wrestlers turn around and they catch them or whatever, or put their bodies in a way to stop the impact. Hey, that's old, guys. For the most part, it does not move people like it used to. It just don't do it. It doesn't do it. So, guys, like I say, look, man, tired of the status quo. And, man, and as far as my man Luke Da Silva said, who you going at? Man, hey, I'm going at a lot of people, Luke. I'm going at a lot of people. And there might be one person out here that think, hey, I'm just going at him. If he thinks that way, that's fine, too. Hey, maybe you heard what happened this week, this past weekend. If that person think I'm going at them, I'm going at them. You know, it is what it is. Because hey, I put in all kind of work to help this person out. And man, you know, I don't like being disrespected, man. I do not like being disrespected. When I put in hard work for somebody and put my money, my hard-earned money into a promotion, and that's not the first promotion I've done that. And once again, I have to sit there and ask myself, and I have to look at myself and say, why in the world did I do it? Why? I have more money than this person. I have more money and have more resources than this person. So why in the world should I be doing it? Same thing. It just, you know, this is not the first thing, you know, happen. It's happening in the wrestling business. This is not happening in the music business. You know, I was in the music business for a long time, all kind of things. You know, hey, happened in church, man. You know, church people would do it to you, would backstab you, would do things, you know, that, you know, to pretty much come, because when it boils down to it, man, it's just human nature. Human nature is people wanting to take credit for something that other people do. If they have some, you know, like I said, they want to take credit for other things, what other people do. And it's not just me that helped this certain person. But like I said, man, look, I'm not just picking on this person. You know, when it boils down to it, don't think that I'm just picking on this person. I'm not just picking on this person. I'm talking about a lot of different people out here in this wrestling business. I am. Because, hey, I've been involved with a lot of different promotions, a lot of different people in this business. But hey, man, all that stuff's about to change. I am not gonna provide services for people that that's unappreciative of what I can bring to the table, or Chris Burton can bring to the table, John Shooter Hargrove can bring to the table, Teo can bring to the table, and so many other people that can bring to the table. I'm not gonna sit here and offer my services no more for people like that, man. I'm just not. It's just flat out crazy. But it's not just that. I mean, my services, you know, offering services, you know, as far as, of course, we're going to continue to do WWE, AEW, TNA when we get a chance. Whatever we can do as far as everything is out here with these wrestling, with what we see as far as wrestling on TV, the big leagues, and as far as going to indie shows. I believe that's exactly what I'm aiming to do now. You know, going back to what we used to do before, what me and Chris used to do before, going back to certain shows, reestablishing ourselves, going to other shows and pretty much commenting and talking about indie promotions out here and what they're doing. And I hope there's somebody out here, man, that come out here and that's going to do it right. That's not going to be caught up in the status quo stuff, man. I just hope there's somebody out here that does that. You know, because right now I'm not going to start no promotion. You know, right now I'm taking a seat back. I may do a little booking, may help some people out, may not. But right now, you know, hey, I'm taking a little seat back. But as far as as far as my podcast, yes, I'm gonna do the podcast, and I'm gonna do some offshoot things of Straight Up Wrestling Show. But I'm gonna do the podcast. That's what I'm gonna do. But man, you know, as far as wrestling go, wow, man, you know, hey, I stopped watching wrestling for a long time. Stopped watching wrestling. Chris got me back into this. Chris started going down to APW in Boiling Springs, South Carolina, and he got me back into it. So I, started going down there with him, and man, saw a lot of great stuff when we first went down. Saw a lot of great stuff, and I said, hey man, I get back into this, and I'm the one who came up with the idea. Let's go and start a podcast. I came up with the name Straight Up Wrestling Show, and it was me, Christopher Burton, and a guy named Michael King, and hey, we started Straight Up Wrestling Show, and hey. Everything was going good. We was going everywhere, man, for a while. And then, like I say, and then it dwarfed to where we just doing live shows every now and then. Come on once or twice, a couple times a week, and do live shows, man. Do a SmackDown, do a Raw. We don't even do AEW Dynamite no more, but that's basically what it's done come down to. But that's not what I want to do, guys. As far as on the podcast, there's so many things that I have to say. I'm just one of these people, man, that's always thinking that wrestling was my thing. It was my thing, man. And, hey, I go back to the early 70s of watching wrestling. It's been a long time. I've been watching wrestling for a long time, guys, since I was a little bitty kid. I've been watching wrestling. So it's a lot of things I'm going to talk about. And, guys, that's what I'm going to do. I'm getting back to that. But, man, hey, before you get off, if you on this podcast, guys, you checking out Straight Up Wrestling Show, hit that like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, 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 so you know when we're on like times like these. If you here on YouTube, if you over on Facebook, hit that like, share, join. If you on Twitch, guys, do the same thing that you do on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, ding, 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 so you know when we're on like times like these. And when you catch us over on X, guys, formerly known as Twitter, hit that like, share, tweet, and retweet, and follow the Straight Up Wrestling Show, guys, over there on X. Man, you know, hey, I'm going to work on some things to try to branch out some more as far as the Straight Up Wrestling Show, what I'm going to do with the Straight Up Wrestling Show. There's a lot of ideas I've had with Straight Up Wrestling Show, and people have taken those ideas, and, you know, I've told people certain ideas, and they have went and used it, you know, for their own, you know, used it themselves to pretty much further themselves or went with the ideas, and which is fine. You know, I have a lot of different ideas and a lot of different ways to do things. So, you know, I'm just a creative person, man. I always have been. But, you know, I am all for every wrestler out here, every promoter. I'm for each and every one of you. I want every single body out here in this wrestling business, especially the wrestlers. I want you guys to succeed. I want you guys to make money. I want you guys to be great out here, guys. That's all it is to it. No ins, ands, and buts about it. I want everybody to be great out here. You know, hey, and for the promotion that I was working for, man, the promotion that I've been doing things with, man, I want that promotion to be top notch. I want it to be the top promotion, not just in Georgia, but in South Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. I want it to be the top promotion. But you can't not be that if you want to be the status quo, if you want to continue to do the things that you did in the past. And that's what happened. I'm sorry. That's what happened this past weekend. I'm going to be straight up. It happened. You know, go back to doing the same old thing that you did before. And now I ain't gonna say this, man. I'll go and say, hey, man, the good book, you know, hey, the word will tell you flat out, hey, a dog always returns to his own spit, returns to his own vomit. And that's exactly what happened. Don't be that. And we all do that. And like I said, man, it's human nature. And I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. And hey, man, you know, I got to get on myself for certain things that I do. But I'm one of these people that want to be helpful. I want to bring people up, and I love being a part of that. But when it boils down to it, you got to ask yourself, why? And then when you don't want to be a part of that, you know, people be like, why? You know, they want to be part of what you're doing. But they want you to lift them up. I need help. But man, wow. But basically, like I say, look, guys, I done got into the indie thing. But yeah, that's exactly, I did want to talk about the indies. But man, as far as out here with the WWE, it's the status quo, man. It's the status quo. And do I think TKO Holdings or Endeavor want to be stuck in the status quo? No. But the thing about TKO and Endeavor, they don't know much about wrestling. So they're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna do what Triple H wants to do. They are going to follow his lead, guys, because they don't know. They really don't know the sport. Maybe a couple of them been a fan of the sport or whatever, but they really don't know the sport. So they're going to follow what's going on there. And I guarantee you, man, they saying, let's go with what's popular. That's what the fans are cheering for. That must be popular. So definitely bringing John Cena, bringing The Rock, bring Roman Reigns back, bring Seth freaking Rollins out there. You know, hey, Drew McIntyre seemed to get a kick when, you know, people get a kick out of him. CM Punk, you know, people are cheering for CM Punk. So let's push these people to the moon. And Cody Rhodes, let's push these people to the moon. Forget about everybody else. So they are devoid of storylines, guys. No story. The storylines are just garbage. But man, it's flat out crazy. It really is. But man, you know, I'm just coming on here and just saying, you know, the things that I see and how everybody is stuck in the status quo. The WWE, AEW been stuck in it for a while. They're doing the same thing over and over again. And my man Raymond Underwood said, hey, Swerve Strickland got put through glass tonight. So I'm gonna have to go and check that out. You know, him being put through glass. I'm gonna have to go and check out the whole show. But yeah, I'm going back to where I'm watching as much wrestling as possible. It doesn't matter if I like it or not, but I'm watching as much wrestling as possible and see what's going on, man. And you know, it's funny, but I'm gonna tell you like this: podcasters shouldn't have to make sense out of nonsense. And there's some good podcasters out here, a lot of good podcasters out here. But for the most part, man, hey, they're part of it too. They're part of that, the IWC, and they are stuck in the status quo. They love it. They're loving it. But guys, I definitely want you, man, whatever platform you're on, definitely go ahead and hit, share, love this, man, like this, man. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, wherever you at. Definitely subscribe, because HBT is going to come on here, man. And hey, I'm going to give it to you real all the time. And hey, you will hear me ranting and raving every now and then. And sometimes you just hear me get on here, just talk about wrestling and talk about, hey, the wrestlers that was great, that did great things in the sport. And hey, are there great wrestlers out here today? Man, I think Cody Rhodes is outstanding. Gunther is outstanding. Roman Reigns outstanding. I wish he would wrestle a little bit more, but he's an outstanding wrestler. Let's see. Even Jon Moxley's a good wrestler, man. I think he tries too hard, guys. I think he tries too hard, and he goes overboard and try to do things to pretty much shock value and hoping that's going to bring more fans and more eyes to the product. It's sad. But hey, wrestling's stuck in the status quo. And I think a lot of wrestlers probably think, hey, man, hey, we are horrible. That's why people not watching us. That's not it. It's up to promoters, man. A lot of it is on promoters. How you get taken, how you get over. Because they got to make, it's up to you guys as independent contractors. You come and you give them your service, but it's up to them to put together matches and put together storylines or put something together to make you look good. It's up to that promoter to talk to that booker or whatever, and the booker for them to make you look good. And if they can't make you look good, hey, you're not going to have a good show. But I see a lot of these wrestlers out here, man, they bust their tail. They give their all. It's sad, man. It really is. But I appreciate everybody coming in, checking out the Straight Up Wrestling Show. Guys, I'm HBT, and I will see you guys a little bit later, but I am out of here, man. And if you was on here earlier and you saw me get a little upset, I got a little upset with my son or whatever. But if you saw that, man, hey, sorry about that. But, hey, I was getting messed with, and he know not to mess with me while I'm doing my podcast. But it is what it is. And, he's old enough. And like I say, hey, he's 33 years old. He knows better. All right, guys, stay straight up. Talk to you guys later. Peace.